we see your hand up? Can we give them a round of applause? Please, can you rise up for us to see you? Federal Science and Technology Orozo, you are welcome. Can we give them another round of applause?
FGC Abuja.
Then we also have Federal Government College, Abuja. FGC, Abuja. Can you please rise up? FGC, Abuja. Okay, you are here. You are welcome. Then we also have Federal Government College, Kwali. Federal Government College. Can we give them a round of applause? These are the leaders of tomorrow. We appreciate your coming. The idea is to catch them young. Let them know that there's need for them to have skill. Skill acquisition is the way out of Nigeria now. So, maybe at the end of the day, we know whether certificate is better than vocational training. I think that's why they are here. And the last school here is Nigeria-Ghana International School. Nigeria-Ghana International School. Thank you. Can we give them a round of applause?
No, sir. It means Federal Government College. Kwali.
Kwali. You have called them now? Okay, we have not called them.
Yes, you have not called them.
Federal
Government College. Kwali. No, you have not called them. No, you have not called Buhari.
FGC, Buhari.
FGGC, Buhari.
Federal FGGC, Buhari. Can you please rise up for us to see you? Federal Government Girls College, Buhari. You are welcome. So now we are going to invite the representative of this school to please come forward to pick the ballots. Representative of each of the schools to please come forward. What's your name? Ekele Glory from Federal Government College, Orozo. You are welcome. Obaseki Esther, also from Orozo. Mustafa Timilein from Nigeria Ghana International College. And Adetumbi Zainab. Ngozi Glory from Federal Government Girls College, Buhari. And Leo Abigail. Ibrahim Mariam from Kwali, Federal Government College. And Eludara Similoluwa. What of Edu? All right. So time for them to pick their ballots. They are picking the ballots now. While doing that, permit me to recognize some of our dignitaries that are in this occasion today. Permit me to recognize the chairman of the Technical Committee of Construction Artisans Award, Builder Samson Okwalua. We welcome you. Builder Samson Okwalua, we welcome you. The chairman of System and president of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, we also recognize your presence. The former managing director of ASO Savings and Loan Limited, Tafida Bala, we recognize your presence. Our former Minister of Health, Honorable Kahoje, we appreciate your coming for the third time. The MD of Hadrafone, our partner, Engineer Hutma, Baba Adini, we recognize your presence, sir. the president of Nigeria Institute of Building, the #1 builder in Nigeria, will recognize your presence. Thank you, sir. Our own executive secretary of Nigeria Bureau of Technical Education, we would like to have you in the front as the chairman of this occasion. You are welcome, sir. Please, we need you in the front, sir. Can we give you a round of applause, sir? Permit me to hand over to the coordinator of the debate, Mr. John Alege. Can we please give him a round of applause as I hand over to him? Thank you, Mr. Alege.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let me just announce the rules for this event. After every school comes out to participate, we'll have audience participation. We'll be inviting 2 people from among the crowd to speak for or against the topic of today. Subsequently, we'll do a voice vote to know the winner. Because of time constraint, we'll do a voice vote from the entire audience. Thank you very much. May I invite the Speaker for Federal Science and Tech, Orozo. Abi? Yes.
Permit me to invite to the front seat here the former executive governor, deputy governor of Ekiti State, Her Excellency, Professor Modupe Adelabu, the chairman and governing board of the National Board for Technical Education in Nigeria. I will give a round of applause. It's also my pleasure to invite also to the front seat here, Alhaji Mohammed Abubakar, the chairman of Chairmen Governing Councils of the Federal Polytechnics in Nigeria. Can we give you a round of applause? I also recognize the presence of my friend, one of the sponsors of this program, Mr. Saki from Royal Ceramic. You are recognized.
And again, the first speaker has 3 minutes, and the second speaker 2 minutes. So,
I know my wonderful opponents will want to tell me that during the days of our forefathers, they survived without academics or even education. But I want to tell you that that was then. Let's talk about the drugs production in the country. During our forefathers' time, they used herbs to survive. But now, the economic development in academics, the drugs we produce now are more efficient. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ekala Glory from Federal Science and Technical College, Orozo. I am here to propose the motion which states that academic education is more relevant in the economic development than vocational. First, I would love to start by defining what an academic skills is. Academic skills is a particular ability involving lots of studying and reading rather than practicals and technical skills. It involves special training and from special schools and colleges. We are in the information age now. We are no longer in the industrial age. Before you succeed in the country today, you have to be able to gather enough information, and this can only be done when you invest in academic skills. No matter the vocations of a country today, it will fail due to the fast academic development in the country. So many people involved in academic education to gain how to speak and make business transactions. Most doctors in our country today, if not all, are educated. Or can you tell me that a doctor without being educated or without going through academic skills will be able to come up or diagnose a disease or coming up with a treatment without going through academic skills or being educated? No. My wonderful opponent, how can you say that academic is irrelevant in our country today? When you still go to most villages in our country and you see people dying through every day due to sicknesses, they have no idea of the cause, neither the treatment. And this is due to what? Illiteracy. Speaking about the doctors, who developed them to become whom they are today? It's the teachers. And these teachers happen to have undergone academic skills before this was possible. Let's talk about our education and economic development today. Academics helping economic development today in so many areas. One, eradicating poverty from the country. Whenever you sit down to read very well and you study very well, when you go to school and learn, you notice that everything you do in this country will be what? Possible and to be prospering. I know that this wonderful point of mine, I have been able to bring you out of the dark world that my opponent is about to put you to a wonderful light that academic skills is more relevant in economic development than vocational. Thank you.
Please permit me to stand on the existing order of protocol. I'm by name Yahaya Bakar from FSCCOZO Abuja. Academic education was set up to produce future leaders like bankers, lawyers, politicians, etc. Let's take, for instance, now, the country's budget. If the budget is about to be produced, the president have to write it down there. He tell it to the Senate, how the House of Representatives, where the process goes on. If all these people were illiterate, if they only had vocational skill, how would the country be able to have its own country's budget? How would they be able to budget the country's finance for a year? It is not possible with only vocational education. And in farming also, in the farming sector, farmers who went through who went to academic education are more experienced and experts in the field of using modernized objects like incubators, tractors, rather than using rakes that waste time. Incubators, tractors, they save time and make work easy for us. In building also, people that have only vocational skill only learn how to lay blocks, bricklaying. But with the help of academic education, we learn how to design houses, sketch houses, civil engineering, and so other things, and which is more faster. They learn how to use modernized objects, like all the instruments made in making blocks, used in mixing cement to build the houses. And academic education also helps us bring about our present doctors, lawyers, bankers, politicians, etc. Most people who have academic education can also have the skill of vocational education, while those who have vocational education can hardly have the skill of academic education. With this point of mind, I know I'll be able to beat my chest on the mountain and say academic education is relevant to the country's economy, development, and employment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we now call the speaker for FGC Abuja? Thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to just recognize some personalities who are also, while the debate was going on, join us in this August Assembly. Permit me to recognize the presence of the President of Carbon in Nigeria, Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria. Permit me to recognize him. I think I saw him. Professor Kaba. Can we give him a round of applause? President Carbon. That is the, I think, Deputy Vice Chancellor of the Ahmadu Bello University. Permit me also to recognize the presence of Alhaji Muhammad Dantata, Chairman, Federal Polytechnic, Bauchi. Federal Poly, Bauchi. We also have here the Chairman of the Federal Government College, Federal Polytechnic, Offa. Federal Polytechnic, Offa. The Chairman. The Chairman of the Governing Council. You are welcome, sir. Chairman, Governing Council, Federal Polytechnic, Mubi. You are welcome, sir. We have many rectors here. Can you please stand up for recognition? Rectors of polytechnics. Rectors of polytechnics that are here, we appreciate you. We thank you for coming. And all the directors from Nigeria Bureau for Technical Education, we'd like you to rise up for recognition. Directors, you are welcome. You're welcome. Permit me to also recognize the presence of the former president of the Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors, former president, the first female president of the Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors. You are welcome, madam. I would like to invite to the high table here the representative of the permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, representative, Engineer Hundu, representative of the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, representative of the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education. Please kindly come forward. You are welcome, sir. You are welcome, sir. Please, sir. Now, time for our debate to continue.
Advance team of the Vice President.
Okay.
Good day, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, and my co-debaters. My name is Chibikem Chukuma from the Federal Government Boys College, Abuja, here to oppose the motion that academic education is more relevant than vocational education in economic growth and employment. First of all, we need to understand what vocational education means. According to the Oxford Dictionary, vocational education can be defined as teaching or referring to skills needed to do a particular job. Vocational education can also be said to be education that prepares people to work in jobs like trading, as craftsmen, and as technicians. From this definition, we see that vocational education deals with the acquiring of skills for various aspects of our lives. A person who wants to be good at what he does needs vocational education and not merely head knowledge. Acquisition of academic education without acquisition of skills amounts to nothing. For instance, in Nigeria, where trading is an area where many youths are employed, majority of these youths did not see the four walls of the university, yet they are employers of labor and contribute significantly to the growth of the economy. Vocational students are more prepared to enter the competitive workforce. This is because they deal with mainly the practical aspect of education, and when faced with real-life application, know what to do. This is not so for academic students who deal with mainly theory aspect of education and may fall when it comes to real-life application. Agriculture is a major part in any economic growth, in the economic growth of any country. This is where the farmers come in. Farming is a vocational subject. It is not something that is taught in schools. Yet farmers contribute greatly to the growth of the economy. And they also help in employment, in reduction of unemployment in the country, because many youths go to agriculture because they cannot pay for their school fees. When people hear vocational education, they tend to think that it is for those who cannot afford quality education. But this notion is wrong. Vocational education acquires people with skills which can be used to generate income for the government. In Nigeria, there's so much emphasis on acquiring of university degree, which has reduced the economic opportunity for people who are more work ordained. Vocational education equips people with skills needed to perform different things in their lives. It equips people, for example, in a country like Nigeria, where most people are unemployed. Studies show that over 21 million people are unemployed in Nigeria. What we can do to reduce it? With these 4 points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you that vocational education is more relevant for economic growth and employment. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Firstly, as my colleague earlier said, vocational education are skills acquired through practicals. Firstly, without vocational education, the world would not be where it is today. If we look at a country like China, over the last 40 years, they had the highest poverty rates, but they came out of it within 10 years through what? Vocational education. And then they had the highest, second world largest economy in the whole of the world. Thirdly, vocational education have manpower and workforce. They make things easier and affordable for the less privileged. If we take for an instance now, an architect who draws and designs plans of a building, who does the make work of putting the bricks and making the building stand, the vocational educated people. If we look, National Bureau of Statistics have said it that 21 million graduates end up unemployed. Without vocational education, maybe it would have been more. Also, if you look at the ASU strike that has been going on for over 3 months now, our university undergraduates are at home doing nothing. But those who are vocationally educated end up going out for jobs and getting more work to do. And by then, reducing the risk of crime. Also, vocational education helps, as a popular saying goes, an idle mind is the devil workshop. Without vocational education, most people who are just jobless end up getting into crimes. I hope with this point of mine, I'll be able to convince you and not confuse you that vocational education is more relevant to economic growth and empowerment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, FGC Abuja. The next school we have is FGC Buhari. FGC Buhari. Sorry, FGGC Buhari.
As a catalyst speeds up chemical reaction, have come to add to your thinking faculty that vocational education is more important than academic education for economic growth and development. But before I proceed, as I was taught in my culture, I would like to give honor to whom honor is due, and I start by saying, good morning, the chairman, honorable panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, invited guests, my co-debaters, and my ever-listening audience. I'm Wokuchi Ngozi Glory, a proud student of Federal Government Girls College, Bari. I'm highly honored and delighted to stand before you all this day to oppose the motion that academic education is more important than vocational education. But before I continue, I would like to define the key points. That's academic education and vocational education. Academic education is the training that helps you to get skills for competence and productive character, while vocational skills is the training that helps you acquire skills to do particular jobs. Without any topsy-turvy, you would agree with me that vocational education is more important than academic education, and you'll be convinced with my points as follows. First and foremost, vocational education initiates self-dependence and self-discovery. This is because there are many talents and skills possessed in youth, but they are usually overshadowed by education because they are considered less important. So vocational education, therefore, brings out those skills in the youth, making them useful citizens. However, in a country like Nigeria, academics has lost its value because examinations, which are supposed to be tests of knowledge, end up being a waste of time and resources. This is because the student cheats during examinations. Then the intelligent ones are less fortunate in the sense that even after getting a first class in the university, they are left roaming the streets and doing all sorts of things, yet they still have to depend on their vocational skills to make ends meet just because white-collar jobs are not forthcoming. Moreover, in a country like Nigeria, if you don't have any vocational skill, you stand a very high risk because jobs acquired through education are very easy to lose. For example, an employee in a company can just come now and meet a sack letter on her desk, and the explanation given to her is that the company is overstaffed and they're reducing staff in the company. in a nutshell, vocational education helps you create your own discoveries because in academics now, there are just some laid-down principles that you have to follow. But in vocational education, you create. This implies that, in a way, academics reduces your thinking. With my cogent points highlighted above, I would like you to think the way you have thought, reason the way you have reasoned, and understand what have understood, and realize that even summer, winter, autumn, and spring will all agree with me that vocational education is more important than academics for economic growth and development. Thank you.
Like one who has been electrocuted, I was shocked and equally flabbergasted to hear the motion of my co-debaters, that is, academic education contribute to the economic growth and development of a country. What country are we in? Nigeria. But as a well-trained African child, I would like to give honor to honor is due. And with this I say, good morning, Mr. Chairman, impartial panel of judges, ever accurate timekeeper, and my co-debaters. I am Ude Naomi of the prestigious Federal Government Girls College at Buhari, Abuja. My co-debater has already explained academic education and vocational education, so without wasting much time, I'll proceed with my following point. Education is the right of every individual, but today, emphasis has been shifted away from why we go to school to I want to make my mommy proud, I want to please the community, I want to have a doctorate degree. Please, many of us who go to school today still have handiworks just to put food on our table. I know of graduates who has gone to school and come back, graduated 4 years after, served in the National Youth Corps, and still do vocational skills just to put bread on their table. Yes, we have the carpenters over there. Please, our carpenters, don't you make money? Yes, you make money. Many of us who have studied, who have gone through school, according to the UBE 6335 or even 4, are still on the streets roaming and looking for jobs. Our carpenters, they have jobs and still put food on the table of their families. And you tell me that academic education contributes to the growth and economic growth and development of a country. You know, once I do vocational education, I can apply it everywhere. Once I learn catering in Nigeria, I can cater anywhere in the world. But according to Ken Carter's, once I do medicine in Nigeria and I go to America to study, I have to write 5 basic exams just to be able to practice medicine over there. And you say academic education contributes to the growth and development of a country. I am very sure that with these cogent reasons of mine, I have been able to build to all reasonable doubts that vocational education helps in the economic growth and development of a country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, FGGC Buhari. Now, FGC Kwali.
Good day, Mr. Chairman, impartial judge, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eludjara Simioluwan. I'm a proud student of Federal Government College, Kwali, and I'm here to vehemently oppose the motion which states that academic education is more relevant than vocational education in the economic growth and development. Mr. Chairman, sir, please permit me to explain the key words. Vocation. According to the Oxford Learner's Advanced Dictionary, the word vocation can be defined as a work or way of life that is suitable for you. Now, what is education? Education can be defined as a way of impacting knowledge, formal or informal. Now, what is vocational education put together? It can be defined as a way of acquiring knowledge through skill acquisition. Mr. Chairman, permit me to go further by supporting with this point, competitiveness. In this country, we all know that vocational education has made a way for competitiveness. For example, someone that makes meat pie and just fix meat in it. Another person too will make meat pie, put carrots and other things that will drag more people to it. Hasn't that made a room for competitiveness? Hasn't that made a room for money? Hasn't that made a room for economic growth? Mr. Chairman, permit me to move further. Employer of labor, all thanks to Dr. Alinko Dangote, who is an employer of labor. He has helped the youth. He has helped the unemployed on the street. He has given them jobs. He has given them employment. He is the one who owns his company. He is dependent of himself. He does not wait for the government to pay him. He owns his own company. And because he knows he's a proud Nigerian, he helps the graduates who don't have work. Some didn't even go to school. That has helped to reduce crime rates. That has helped to reduce poverty. He has helped them in the sense that he has given them jobs. Some serve as drivers, some serve as those who sell for him. Now, permit me, Mr. Chairman, to move to my next point, which is the importance of trade subjects. Because the government have seen the importance of vocation, they introduced something called trade subjects in our schools. We have something called cosmetology, photography, fishery, and lots more. Why? Because most of the people who are graduates, they don't even have anything. But we that are still in school, if we learn this and we're still waiting for admission, we can go into something like makeup, photography, many things. Permit me, Mr. Chairman, to move further, which is self-confidence. How can someone who says he study engineering meet a common roadside mechanic to repair his car? How can someone who says he study agriculture employ farmers to work on his farm? That is because those who learn skillfully are more experienced. Mr. Chairman, all thanks to Ms. Hajia Buhari, Aisha Buhari, who has introduced something called You Win. That is for unemployed youth. That has given them the chance to show their God-given talent. As there's a saying that says, there's no smoke without fire. How do I put it into this? Mr. Chairman, I'd like to round up by saying this word. Fire is a good servant, but a bad master. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that vocational education is more relevant in the economic growth.
Well, according to Judge Santanyaya, a child educated only in school is an uneducated child. Let's come back home. On the first Sunday of January 2019, if you had tuned into the Nigerian Television Authority and watched the news go on, unemployed people were being questioned on the streets. And these are males, not even females. Why? Because they were frying akara, also known as bean cake, on the streets. And when they were asked, they said because there was no job for them. Good day, Mr. Chairman, accurate panel of judges, my co-debaters, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am by name Ibrahim Mariam, and I stand here vehemently to oppose the motion, academic education is better than vocational education for the development of a country. Well, also, on the 1st of January 2018, the youngest programmer was interviewed live on CNN Cable News Network. He is a Chinese, and he currently works with Google and earns up to $1 trillion every year. This is because of his technological skills. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today, if someone comes with a certificate and presents it to you as a manager of a company, you won't even be able to find out if that certificate was truly his. But I bet you that technologists are coming with a machine that would check what's in someone's brain and tell you if that person is really qualified or not for the job. Also, big thanks to Governor Udom Emmanuel. Akwa Ibom State is now producing pencil and toothpicks. This is something that we were importing before to the country. The real sector contributes to 70% of the GDP of countries like Germany, Japan, South Africa. Currently, Japan is on 7D and Nigeria is still on 3D. This is because of their vocational skills. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you want to help someone on the street now who is 56 years old, how are you able to do this? I hope I've been able to convince you and not to leave you in a state of disarray that vocational education is better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, FGGC Kwali. Nigerian Ghana International School.
We gather here this morning to deliberate on an issue that seems to raise questions in the minds of we future leaders of tomorrow. A very good morning, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mustafa Timilen, and I'm here to propose the motion which states that academic education is more suitable than vocational training for our economic growth and development. To the following points of mine, we all know that beneath our feet lie mineral resources. How will you tell me that Nigeria has a lot of mineral resources? I will not have the technical know-how on how we can extract these mineral resources, process these mineral resources, and export these mineral resources, which is going to improve our gross domestic product. I'm telling you this right here, right now, that I'm very sure that on Judgment Day, when we get to God's side, God is going to ask us that, what did we do with the mineral resources? God gave us the brains to process these mineral resources, but we left them down there just for nothing. That was how my co-debater was telling me that people are going into agriculture. Yeah, fine and good, people are going into agriculture. But I'm very sure that I can tell you this, that with academic education, you can improve the output gotten from this agriculture. We all know that President Muhammadu Buhari is trying to say that we have been depending on oil. We need to diversify our economy. Let us focus on agriculture. And I'm telling you that with academic education, we can improve the output gotten from this agriculture with farm machineries. I tell me that with hoes, spades, and all those olden day farm tools that are telling me that we can be able to feed the nation. That was how I heard on the news that Nigeria was exporting yam. When you got to the other country, they said that the yam spoiled. Why would the yam spoil? Why would have the people that have the technical know-how on how they can preserve that yam so that it can last for that long journey? Somebody mentioned a point that I totally disagree with. The 21st century is for the wise. Those people that are looking for jobs, they are not wise. They don't know what they went to school to do. Oh, because how can you tell me that you studied mechanical engineering and you're telling me that the person is taking his car to a roadside mechanic? That means the person never went to school. Probably that person forged his result. Maybe the guy gave somebody his exam to write for him. Who knows what happened while the guy was in the university? That person is not a student. That person is not a product of our Nigerian universities. With all these points of mine, I hope I've been able to remove the iota of doubt that my co-debaters are trying to put into your head that vocational training is better than academic education for economic growth and development.
Standing on the existing protocol, my name is Zainab Adetumbi from Nigerian Ghana International College, and giving points to follow the laid down topic that my colleague already said. To begin with, I would like to state out that this topic is quite hypocritical. How can you tell me that you prefer vocational training to academic education? Let me start with my colleagues here. Will you drop out of school to go for tailoring? No. Go home and tell your mother today that you want to leave school to go and learn how to be a mechanic. When we now have mechanical engineering in school, studying how to do it better. Most of the people that in these workshops are there not because they want to be there, not because they like being there, but because they don't have a chance at education, because they don't have the money to go to proper schools, not because they want to go and learn how to sew clothes. When I can go to a university, learn how to be a fashion designer, build a beautiful company and make people come there, I will sew their clothes for them better than a roadside tailor would do it. Because you see 10% out of 90% vocational personnel making it does not mean that all of them are making it. Some plumbers receive nothing less than 1,000 naira in a week. Some plumbers will come and fix your toilet for you and all you have to give them is 500 naira. Is that what you want for your future? No, tell me, let's be honest with ourselves. But people will always say, you cannot start climbing a tree from the top. You have to start from climbing the tree from down before you reach the top. So are you saying that you don't need academic training for vocational training? Of course you need academic training to get to vocational training. You need to go to school. If to say education was not so important, when you get to why do we do vocational education in primary school? Why do we do trade subjects in secondary school? It is because you still need this academical knowledge to reach this vocational training. But somebody was saying China, Taiwan, Singapore, all these Asian tigers, before they reach this vocational level they are able to reach, they have to put 99% of their economical money into the educational sector. Then in this school, they now taught them how to go into vocational training. They don't have enough time to talk. But if I had enough time to talk, I'll be able to say more than this. But I hope that with the few I've been able to say, I've been able to change this brainwash that you need vocational training more than academical training. Thank you.
Well, can we put our hands together for all the students who have come out to do this great work today? It's not easy. Both for the opposing and the supporting side. Please, can we clap for them? Clap for them, please. Let me also tell us that the reason for this debate is not really to put down one of the sides. We know that they are all important, but we also want to know the level of research and the intellectual abilities of our students. It's just a brain exercise. It's not to put down any profession. All of them are important. All of them are equal. Have you ever wondered why people go to the university and study mechanical engineering and take their cars to the roadside mechanic to help them fix? that is how life is. So let's clap for every profession also here who's making life wonderful. We also want to very quickly take some recognitions before I go back to our moderators for the debate. We want to welcome the Chairman, Governing Council of Federal Polytechnic Ilaro, Professor Sadatu. Please, let's welcome Sadoki, Professor Sadoki, you're welcome. We also have the CEO of CITB, all the way from Northern Ireland, Mr. Barry Nelson. Thank you very much. He's been here from day one. Let me also specially recognize the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and Youth Employment. We call him Mr. Empower, Mr. Folabi Imokwede. Please put your hands together for him. We have also with us the Director of the British Council in Abuja, Robert Taylor. You're welcome. Thank you very much, sir. Well, I'm sure we will still be taking, I've been told that we will take participation from the audience, and we will allow you to just take on the issue and not on the persons. We'll also allow those on the front row to also tell us their mind. We'll take some participation from them. But we'll go now probably to our moderators who will tell us what is happening. Remember, please, if you just want to say something, just talk to the ushers. They'll give you a paper to just write your name, and then we'll call on you to just contribute to this discussion. It's very important. This is the problem we are having between university degrees and polytechnic diplomas. We hope we can balance it all out. I become a plumber and I earn well in life. I'm sure Mr. Afalabi will help us achieve that. Please put your hands together for him. So we want two people from the audience. If you just want to contribute, just come, one male, one female for gender balance. If you want to, just signify, hello. Just signify, just come. You need to introduce yourself here when you come. Yes, let's have you. Anybody from here? Okay. Okay, Uncle. Please clap for Uncle. Where's the lady who's coming? One lady raised her hand. Let's have you. Uncle, just do 1 minute.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is Mr. Daniel Oga. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, and the audience. I'm here to oppose the motion which say that educational academic is more relevant to our economy than vocational training. I want to start by saying that everything about human being is vocational. From the beginning of creation, God created man through vocation. Is it true or false? Thank you very much. Secondly, if it's not vocation, we will not be able to have sit down here. I have started by saying everything about human being is vocational. The clothes I'm wearing today is through the help of vocation that I can be able to wear this cloth. The seat we are sitting on today, if not for the help of vocation, we would have been standing. And what a mess for an honorable Nigerian to come to this kind of gathering and to stand up just to watch things happening in this environment. And if not for the help of vocation, I think, in fact, the food, even the chin-chin we just ate, the mineral we just drink, is through the help of vocation. That is why I said everything about human being is vocation. Thank you very much. With these few points of mine, I think I've hoped to convince you and not confuse you that vocational training is more relevant to the economy of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Please put your hands together for him. Let's have the male. Okay.
Good day, Mr. Chairman. My name is Orsa Kwetari. I'm a proud student of one of the best federal government colleges in Nigeria, Federal Government College, Abuja. And I'm here to fervently propose the motion that says academic education is better for economic growth and development. Please, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask this question. When Isaac Newton was under that apple tree, did the apple fall on his head and call his name, Mr. Newton, wouldn't you like to study me? Or was Michael Faraday in his room and got struck by lightning and the lightning called his name, wouldn't you like to discover electricity? No. Now, it takes determination and hard work for one to become a perfect academician. Now, I would like to say this. In Finland, it is recorded that they have 93% of graduates who graduate every year and are given jobs immediately. Now, I would like to beg our leaders up there today that if they can invest in academic education, it will be better for us. Because now, due to current research, we can see that the economy of Finland is built strongly on education. That was agency report June 21st, 2017. Now, I would also like to say this. Academic education is, as Nelson Mandela once said, take away a country's education, take away a country's knowledge, and you kill the economy. Now, Nelson Mandela once said, education is the only way you can use to change the economy, the life of a man. Now, I would like to tell you that academic education, in a way, has helped China, because now, recently, they are building houses on springs to help to avoid earthquakes and loss of lives. Now that has built the economy. I hope that with these points of mine, I'm able to prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that academic education is more reliable on than vocational education for the growth of the economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one lady taking up the challenge.
Good day, everyone. I'm Leo Guche Abigail of the prestigious and renowned Federal Government Girls College, Bari, Abuja. I'm here to support the motion, academic education is more important than vocational education to the economic growth and development. Today, in our digital society, academic education is the building block for nation building. Academic education provides citizens of a country with necessary qualifications to secure lucrative jobs and contribute to their own quota to the economic balance of the country. You would all agree with me that no standard organization will employ any individual without a certificate of degree, either an MSc, BSc, or a doctorate degree. Even the least paid staff must have at least an NCE qualification. Also, beyond economic growth, additionally, academic education boosts the country's economic growth. Health and struggle survivals, fertility levels can all be linked to a country's educational attainment. For example, in the sub-Saharan Africa, an estimated 1.8 children's lives would have been saved if their mothers had at least an educational background. Educated women seek out antenatal cares, send their children to schools, get economic opportunities on how to alleviate poverty and mortality rates. Furthermore, secondary and tertiary education facilitates the transfer of information and technology to their individuals. Worstman 2015 survey shows that education is a leading determinant of economic growth, employment, and earnings. Education is not only giving rise to a higher individual income, but is also a long-term condition for economic growth. The saying says that once you educate an individual, you educate him. But once you educate a child, you educate the whole nation. Academic education today boosts the country's economic growth by providing a suitable environment for the importing and exporting of goods, which will contribute greatly to the country's gross domestic product. I hope I have been able to convince you beyond every reasonable doubt that academic education is the key to the nation's building. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think a speaker from Kemford Academy, please. Just one. You see them? You see them?
Well, thank you. We're still having, we want to specially welcome Mr. Sam Odia, the Managing Director of Mullard Fuller Foundation. You're welcome, sir. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you. We also want to specially appreciate they came from very far and they managed to get transportation into town. We hear that a lot of VIP events in the city and a lot of the roads were blocked, so this school could not get here earlier than now. We appreciate them all the same for taking the pains to be here. So we want to welcome students from Kemford Academy here in Abuja. We'll just allow them to make their comments. She'll introduce herself and just tell us exactly what she has to say. Please, let's clap for her.
Good day, Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, my interlocutors, ladies and gentlemen. I am by name Elizabeth Olatilu from the prestigious Kenford Academy, Abuja, here to propose the motion which says academic education is more relevant for economic growth and employment. It will be incomplete without appreciating the key terms. Academic education. According to Oxford Leavers Dictionary, this is academic education. This is studying or passing through different institutions to learn or know things. Economic growth, according to Cambridge Dictionary, this is an increase in the growth of the economy, especially in the goods and services. Employment, according to Oxford Dictionary, this is an ability to get work or to be employed by someone. Everybody knows that education is a foundation of development. No country can have a substantial economic development without a substantial human. A country's economy can only grow when you have education. A country's economy grows when the number of educated workers grow. You can't have a country where you have educated workers and the country won't grow. It is not possible. The economy rises. Now, if we all know, an employer won't employ a person without a certificate. You can't employ a person without a certificate. If an employer has to choose from a group of people, he will mostly prefer those who have a certificate. With these few points of mine, I hope you all know, and I know you can agree with me, that academic education is more relevant for economic growth and education.
All right, I think we will now take comments from the front row. So we'll start with Mr. Barry Nelson to just say something. He's the CEO of CITB from Northern Ireland. Thank you very much, sir. Donated trophies, and he came personally to see what we are doing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. I would first like to ask a question. Is there such a thing as bad education? Education is valuable no matter whether it is academic or vocational. And I think what is really the argument here is that do we want a competent workforce? Do we want people who are competent in their chosen field of operations? And to be competent, you need a blend of both academic and vocational qualifications. I have both. I started off with a vocational qualification and then progressed on to an academic qualification. I don't value any of them any less because with my vocational qualifications, I can do things. And with my academic qualifications, I know how and why I am doing it. And the blend of the both, that's what drives an economy. So please do not sacrifice one for the sake of the other. But please remember that the driving force is for a country, in economic terms, is to produce things. And vocational education is actually the bedrock to most academic qualifications as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I introduced him a few days ago, and I told you that he started himself on the vocational line. I went ahead to get a full degree, and now he's a chartered engineer. Please, let's clap for him. Thank you. We want to invite the chairman of the Governing Board, National Board for Technical Education, Professor Modupe Adelabu, to just say a few words. Please put your hands together for her. These are the people who have helped vocational education to continue. She's also a former deputy governor. She's worked hard. She's doing well for this country. Please clap for her.
Thank you very much. All protocols observed. And I think, I'm wearing two caps. I'm an academic in a vocational setting. My own plea is that, especially for our young ones, don't sacrifice one for the other. I'm just going to give an empirical instance. There was a time as a woman, I wanted to palm my hair. So I said they should come in the one hairdresser down the road. She came, I gave her the kit. She didn't read it at all. She was going to apply the soap on my head, and I said, no, you have to read it. She said, no, I can't read. Then I said, if you can't read, you can't walk on my hair. Then she said, madam, then go away with your hair. And I really wanted her to do it. So both are crucial. You must be able to read, you must be able to perform. And that is why my advocacy is that the best way to inculcate in our students, in our children, vocational skills is to go back to school. Where you read the National Policy on Education, it says you can go as far as GSS 3. But if you cannot transit to the purely academics, you can go into vocation. So there's no way you can avoid education. Both go pari passu. So I want to advise you that if you want to be a good tailor, go and read. If you want to be a good, whatever you want to be, you need some basic education. Even these countries you are referring to, China, Japan, whatever it is, they were literate before going into vocation. At the same time, whoever you may be, you see a lot of graduates. Doctors go into fashion designing, go into catering. So they are both relevant for our development. And I want to support the last speaker that please don't sacrifice one for the other. Both are good for sustainable development for our country, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. We appreciate you. We will invite the former member of the House of Representatives. He's also a one-time Minister of Sports. Let's welcome Mr. Bala Kauje to say a few words. Please put your hands together. He was our chair, and he's been here from day one supporting us. Thank you very much for your support.
Yeah, please permit me to stand on existing protocol. I must express my delightfulness on the debates that we just listened from these young ones that are coming up. And I'm particularly happy because there are many students of federal government colleges here where I also passed through. So I'm happy, and I see them doing quite well, comparable to what we did during our time. But I want them to improve in what they are doing so that they can catch up with what we were doing when we were there. This program is going to end today, and I think this program has started to show light in what we need to do as a nation. We must not forget about the vocational training. Our debaters both spoke on different issues. One side is talking about academic qualifications. The other side is talking about vocational qualification. In my thinking, I think both two are important, because if you don't balance up, you end up in trouble. And I want to say boldly that in Nigeria, we couldn't balance up the academic and vocational. And that's why we are into the problems in which we are facing today. I'm happy that the representative advisor to the president is here sitting with us, and I'm giving a message anyway, so that the president will know that time has come for additional change. We know change is going on in the country, but we want additional change. We want additional change in the because it is time for us to focus. Too many academic universities every day. You see academic universities being registered every day. That's good. But we will be happy also to see a lot of vocational schools, training schools coming up, because you need to strike balance for you to have a peaceful nation and progressive nation. If you don't strike that balance, you will be in trouble. Whether if you leave either side, if you leave the vocational, you have problem. If you leave the academic totally, you also end up having problems. So it is important for us as a nation to strike a balance between these two sides of the coin. So I think I congratulate our debaters. They have all done very well, and they have told us their own mind, and we believe in what they said.
Well, still for comments, this one is very important because it's the one who has helped to make sure that those who had no voice, either as artisans or as people who finish school with certificates and have no jobs, they have a voice, they have something to announce or show people that every month something enters their account. And they have a job. Some of them have gone ahead to become employers of labor because government has given them that opportunity. He will share with us and encourage you if you think of giving up already. He will tell you how people are succeeding at what government is doing. We want to welcome the Senior Special Assistant, Job Creation and Youth Employment, Mr. Empower, Sir Folabi Imokwede. Please put your hands together for him.
Excellencies, honorables, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, always my pleasure to stand before us. Let me first and foremost congratulate all our debaters, the students. Well done, congratulations. You deserve all a round of applause. When I walked in and I was hearing confused or convinced, and it reminded me of our own days too. We're all Federal Government College products as well. I think I went to the only Federal Government College, which is Federal Government College Warri. I don't know the one my Oga went to, but that was the only Federal Government College, after King's College and Queen's College. You can mention your own when you get the mic, but I have the mic now. But I think what is important for us, and I like the fact that the moderators cleared the air. This is more of a brain academic exercise for you. Well, those of you for or against the motion, I think both are important, just like all the other speakers. If you look at those who have designed our education worldwide, and I think this is also very important for my brothers and sisters of the blue collar that are out there. I welcome you and I salute you and I say congratulations. You deserve a big round of applause. You would always know that I'm on your side at all times. But what is key is those who have designed education worldwide. They have designed what is now become a global minimum, and that's your basic education. Education is very important. Your basic education, 9 years, meaning your kindergarten, your primary school, and obviously your junior secondary school as we have it here, or if you call it junior high, if you're in the States. So please, that is so very important. So whether it is tailoring, whether it's construction, whether it's plumbing, whatever the vocation, because in actuality, everything is a vocation. So whatever the vocation it is, I think it's important that we know that standing for literacy, it's very, very critical. I mean, like the professor was saying, I mean, how do you want to progress at whatever level of vocation you are when you can't even read and understand the guidelines of even any equipment that you bought or you are being given to use? So that's why, please, as adults that we are and have chosen a path that you are on, and particularly for our kids who are still in school and have come to dazzle us today with their level of intelligence. Please, I beg you, your 9 years, it's so very important. A lot of you are in high school already, so that means you've gone past it. But it's very important. However, I think what is important, more important, is what Barry said. And I think that's what Dr. Kazaure and all our education actors are doing. It is really about being able to create multiple pathways. It is really about being able to take us away from the dead-end process that somewhat of our education has tried to stigmatize us to think that if you do not go to a university, then you're a no good or you're a second-class citizen. I mean, clearly you won't have my chairman of Cobon here, who is a respectable deputy vice-chancellor academic, but then at the same time is a chair of a council that superintends and is a standard bearer for vocational skills. I mean, so in the industry that he is. So it behooves us, therefore, as policymakers, that we've got to open up the space. And we don't have a choice. I said this on Monday. We really don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. The number of our population growth far exceeds, our economic growth that opens up even the formal jobs, 9 to 5, that many of us want to aspire through academic routes. So we don't have a choice. So we must open up that pathway that allows even those who are, because again, one of the things we also said on Monday, there is no one that is academically deficient. Whether I chose vocational path or I continue to be a professor, none is academically deficient. I argue many times that you perhaps need to engage the better parts of your brain to even function in the areas of our blue-collar, our professionals. And one of the things we've done with Empower is to recognize our young men and women as service professionals. They are service professionals, and I think the national qualification framework will begin to correct those anomalies. I want to also hope that our employers of labor would also play a lot of role in correcting these anomalies. There should be no dichotomy between whether you're a polytechnic graduate or university graduate. There's really no basis for it. I think what really helps to underscore and bury all of this is that word that is called competence. So whatever part I'm in, am I competent is the word. And once, whatever parts that I go through, I'm able to also aspire to get the relevant qualifications that defines my competency, and I'm also able to make a productive living out of it, then there will be no need to know whether I'm an engineer out of a university doing academic work or even doing intellectual work, or I am a technician that have also risen up to the level of applied engineering. There really will not be any need for it. I dare say that the economy that we are pursuing, the economy transformation that President Buhari is pursuing, would always let us know that you have greater opportunities even in the technical vocational space. Because what you find in construction, for example, which is an aberration, is that you have a lot more engineers than even the artisans and the craftsmen that will do the work to be supervised by engineers. So it tells us of the opportunities that we have there. And I'm so super proud of what our master artisans and even the Empower graduates of the vocational skills have shown us, wherein when we created it as a non-graduate program, because it just means that you just need to have a senior secondary school certificate, over 60% actually have degrees. But after having a degree, they chose to come back to vocation. But what we are saying is, with a vocational qualification framework, with a national qualification framework as we have it, just like Barry did, you could choose to start with a vocation and then grow up into your pathway to go to academic. And you could as well start academic like many of our Empower graduates have done, and then obviously come back into vocation. At the end of the day, There is none that is better than the other. There is none that is inferior to the other. But instead, every one of these two lines are needed to transform the economy of Nigeria, to open up the economy of Nigeria, to diversify our economy, and indeed to provide sustainable wealth for each and every one of us. I want to continue to join us. Most of us who are in the vocational area, in the industrial sectors, please continue to aspire for excellence. That's what's important. And that's the whole essence of a competition. Those of you who have just left the Empower graduate, who have just left the program, or you're in your apprenticeship, you can't suddenly know better than your master artisans who have been there 20, 30 years. Even if you have learnt it faster, it doesn't make you better. So please let's understand, that there is a place for experience, there's a place for knowledge, but above all, what we must strive for is for mastery and it's for competence. And as we do that, each one following his lane, I'm sure in the next 5, 10 years, what we have sown the seed for today, between Monday and now, and what we've done in the next 5, 10 years, when we watch the landscape of Nigeria, whether it's from an employment standpoint or from a productivity standpoint or from an industrial standpoint, we would have every cause to give thanks to God and to salute all our champions of what we are doing here today. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I think all the artisans, all the workers here, can we clap specially for this man? We know what he's doing. I want to specially welcome and recognize the chairman of the Governing Council, Auchi Polytechnic, Chief Mike Oloyo. You're welcome. Please put your hands together for him. We have also the rector, IMT Enugu, Professor Austin Nweze. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. We cannot downplay the role that artisans play. I know that he had told me a story about a young boy who was an artisan boat maker, and he also takes time off work sometimes to just paddle the canoe to cross people from one side of the village to another. So one day, one man came. He was probably a professor, and the boy was to ferry him because there was no other person around. And then he needed to carry him across to the next village. So while they were doing, the boy was doing so well at paddling the boat, and the man asked him after a while, he said, "Do you know anything about sociology?" And the boy said, "No, I'm just a boat maker." He said, "Okay, a quarter of it is gone." There is no egg in the eggplant. There is no ham in the hamburger. Neither pine or apple in the pineapple. English muffins were not invented in England, and French fries were not invented in France. Quicksand takes you down slowly, and boxing rings are square. We recite at plays and we play at recitals. We drive on parkways and we park on driveways. The guinea pig is neither a pig, nor is it from Guinea. If writers write, how come fingers don't fing? When the stars are out, they are visible. But when the lights are out, they are invincible. If vegetarians eat vegetable, what do humanitarians eat? Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're not talking intellectual too much. It's also good to take some cultural performances. And we have a dance group that's already prepped to do that for us. Please, let's put our hands together for them as they come up with their dance.
Mr. Flavor, can you do me a favor? Masterclass on the beat.
Everybody make we rejoice, yo. I say no time to waste, yo. Calling today, no tomorrow. thank us. Everybody make we rejoice, I say no time to waste, jolly today, not tomorrow. God bless you, and thank us. Asa baby, what I miss you, I carry. Baby, carry the ball. You walk out there with your mobile one now. I said no time to waste you. I live today, not tomorrow. God bless you, my thank us. Everybody make we rejoice. I say no time to waste you. I live today, not tomorrow. God bless you, my thank us. If I do one man, I do one man. If I'm body, I'm gonna go. I spend no time to waste you. I live today, not tomorrow. God bless you, my thank us. Everybody make we rejoice you. I spend no time to waste you. I live today, not tomorrow. God bless you, my thank us.
Look like I'm going for a swim. Dunk on him, now I'm swinging off the rim. Drink coming off the bench, while I'm coming off the court fully drenched. Here goes some hater rain, get your thirst quenched. Style on him in this Burberry trench. These birds copy every word, every inch. But gang got the hammer and the wrench. I pull up in that $250,000 off the lot. Oh, now she trying to be friends like I forgot. Show off my diamonds like a sign by the rock. Ain't pushing out his baby's telly by the rock. Hey yo, I been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. I mean I been on, X-Men been on. He keep on dialing Nicky like the prince on. I been on, you been con. Bentley tints on, Fendi prints on. Hey yo, I been off, Laura been Croft. Place say Chang Lee, drop the bins off. Oh, I get it. They painted me out to be the bad guy. Well, it's the last time you wanna see a bad guy do the rap game like me. I went and caught the chopsticks, put it in my bun just to pop.
Security back, I just want to security back.
Fast bag and beating by the way. Martin Fields, what's up? You do got the alarm.
Security back, I just want to security back. That's my money. Security back, I just want to security back. Security back, I just want to security back. I just want to security back. I just want to security back. You are not paid, irú àkíwá o. Àbógbó orúkọ tán pé mi ni ọmọ àjíká o. Èmi náà fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ gbòó kí n máa jẹ fruit of my labour. I just want security back, mi ráyè please do me a favour. Make I come perform for your show. How much you get so they go? Action for me you go go. Now we dey run Lagos go. Where I come perform for my show. How much I get to my go? Action for me you go go. Now we dey run Lagos go. Where sanwó me, I just want security back. Oh, family for the business, oh man, I'm sorry fam. Where saw me, I just want security back. Oh, family for the business, oh man, I'm sorry fam. That's how I go over there. Oh yeah, secure the bag. Secure the bag.
Oh, ni coco no more chepist. Give me shot in issue. Yeah, gone issue. Oh, ni coco no more chepist. Fancy Allah, in fact, carry your shot. Think you're smart. Stop that. Oh, the story, oh, ni coco. Go to complete your coco. What's in a need now? We know we promo. Secure the naira is our motto. Secure the bag like security guide. Secure the paper, the quality time. Give me the joy after not quantified. I spend the fortune on somebody died. Then I pull up in the colorful ride. The zero problem on the monetary side.
Oh yes, oh me, I just want security back. Oh family for the business, oh man, I'm sorry fam. Oh yes, oh me, I just want security back. Oh family for the business, oh man, I'm sorry fam. I just say I'm okay. Secure the bag. Secure the bag. Security bag. I just want to security bag. That's my money. Security bag. I just want to security bag. Security bag. I just want to security bag. I just want to security bag. I just want to security bag.
Thank you very much. I think we should appreciate them. Thank you. That's actually a foreign response to local music. Thank you. I want to appreciate the President of the Association of Women Builders of Nigeria, Her Excellency Builder Hajia Lami Mohammed Gadu. Please put your hands together for her. She's from ATBU, Bauchi. You're welcome, ma'am. Let me also specially welcome the CEO of Skill G Nigeria Limited, founder of Gregory University Uturu, Professor Gregory Ibe. You're welcome, sir. Well, I have been told that while we have word that our special guest of honor will be with us in a few minutes, but while we hope he'll join us soon, a young man has been prepped to also help us to enjoy this afternoon. He is a Nigerian, but he has certain blood in him that traces to China. He's MC Super Eyes, the Chinese mimic. Please put your hands together for him. He's a comedian, and he has been told to help us to be happy this afternoon. Please, let's put our hands together.
DJ, wait. Mona Noves. I know well. MC, you introduce me again, they will clap. I am a Nigerian, so you should appreciate a Nigerian. MC, introduce me again.
Well, this sound, can we help us this microphone, please? Sound, thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria's young comedian, an engineer by training, a comedian by frustration. Ladies and gentlemen, Nigerian who has traveled all over the world to thrill, to entertain. Please, let's welcome the Chinese Super Eyes.
Bloqué.
A man like you is whining his waist and you're licking your tongue. I cover my nyash with the blood of the lamb. Every weapon formed against my uku, Holy Ghost. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, excellencies here present. So, you know, when I start this comedy stuff, my father said I'm not going to meet white man. But today I've break the record. Please shake me. Hey, photographer, where you do? Photographer! Hey, come here. Embelembe. You see, I mean, they even happy to snap with me. Snap. Yeah? Oh, Dario. Hey, Mr. Barry. How you doing, sir? You know, you look like a Chinaman. I don't know if you understand Chinese. You don't understand Chinese? Okay, I understand Chinese. Wow. Oh, con gối gì à? Miao gối chú gong cái gì à? When I know what it mean, even myself no know. Amen? Amen? You know, I want to ask you this question. Okay, before I ask you this question, in case you're meeting me for the first time, I go by the name MC Super Ice, comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The only comedian that can speak and understand fake Chinese. Amen? You know, I want to ask this question. Between man and woman, who bring Ebola? You say? You say? Mo settle the case now. If man name na Emmanuel, what's the woman name? You say? If man name na Daniel, what's the woman name? If man name na Martin, what's the woman name? Then if man name na Ebo, what's the woman name? Who die here? Who die here? Please, the senior special advisor to the president on job creation and youth empowerment, Mr. Empower, I greet you, sir. I salute you. Sir, this clothes where they wear, may today be the first, the last they are baked. I'll come collect her. I never pay us rent, too. Before I come out, we go see ourselves. Yeah? They say, now where man they walk, they do it in. Now why they call and walk? Amen? Ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria is the only country whereby they get many tribes where sabi many dialects. Ladies and gentlemen, for example now, okay, my real father don't they come. My real father don't they come. Ladies and gentlemen, I was opportune to talk when they invited me to one ceremony. But ladies and gentlemen, before I continue, I'd like to give this time because our father is here. In less than no time, I'll be coming back again. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to take my leave. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please put your hands together for him. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is announcing the arrival of a special guest of honor, who's represented here today by one who personally oversees our work as artisans, as builders. Today, he has come in to represent the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Oshibanjo, GCON, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Let's welcome the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, who personally works with us, who goes to the fields with us, and oversees what we do. He's happy with Artisans. He did great work when he was in Lagos. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing. With his arrival, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, will take the national anthem. Of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, distinguished members of the High Table, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for taking time out to wait up till this time as we go ahead with the closing ceremony. To begin, I want to specially welcome a chairman for the Technical Committee of the Construction of Artisans Awards Technical Committee, who's also the Vice Chairman of COVON, Builder Samson Opalua, to deliver the welcome address. Please put your hands together for him.
The representative of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola, son, Minister of Works, Power and Housing, other senior government officials here present, professional and leaders of government, business, and professional bodies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we give glory and thanks to God for making it possible for us to be here to witness this very auspicious occasion of the Maiden Construction Artisans Awards through Skills Expo in Nigeria, and for giving us the opportunity to be part of this epoch-making event that heralds a shift in our attitude and commitment to the development of skills, competencies, and excellent workmanship in the construction industry. Indeed, when the idea of the Construction Artisans Award was mooted by the organizers of System some time ago, during the flag-off of the construction trainings and empowerment project by the representative of your honorable self, the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, exactly 3 years ago, sir, this project was conceived at a program in which you sent your representative. This was since many of the stakeholders in the construction industry were very skeptical about the viability of our having to hold a day like this. This was in spite of the fact that the presidency expressed interest in the project through the assurances conveyed to the audience by the representative of the emerging job creation team, headed by our brother, the SSA to the president, Afolabi Mokwede, who informed the audience of federal government's plan to boost the construction sector by training 75,000 artisans and craftsmen as part of the job creation program of this administration. Your Excellency, the Construction Artisans Awards, however, received a boost in spite of this skepticism of the stakeholders by the Introduction of the National Skills Qualification Framework by the National Board for Technical Education. This led to the development of the National Occupational Standards. And then the Council of Registered Builders midwifed this production of these National Occupational Standards with the support of the DFID, the British Council, and the GIZ. Recognizing the challenge posed by the low level of recognition for this category of workers whom we have assembled here nationally today, in spite of their critical roles in the building, construction, and infrastructure development, management, and maintenance in our country, System, a private concern, decided to institute the awards as part of a holistic strategy to generate excitement, to generate interest, and to reward expertise in the construction trades. In Nigeria, sir, and indeed Africa, it is a first of its kind award, and we are using it to celebrate skillful construction artisans and tradesmen. Your Excellency, we are honored to have you witness this event today. This award is the culmination of a process that was boosted by the training of artisans under the very impactful Empower Build program, for which all of us in the construction industry are most grateful to your administration. This program, which commenced with instruction at the training centers, has, after assessment, progressed to the integration of master artisans to support the trainees on site to practicalize the skills introduced to them at training centers across the country. They spent 3 months at the training centers to acquire the skills needed to be translated on site. And for 9 months, they are working under master craftsmen in order to practicalize those skills and be able to take off on their own. Sir, today's awardees have gone through a process of assessment based on the National Occupational Standards, which commenced nationwide with the screening and assessment at the state levels. And the competition was also progressed to the zonal level. So each of the 6 zones produced winners after the state level. Now, the finals of the competition, which took place here between Monday and today, Wednesday, we also undertook other activities aimed at broadening the scope and prospects of the artisans to complement the federal government efforts to boost employment, promote expertise, and support nation building by developing the skills of these artisans. The finals, which started on Monday, included a workshop and an exposition on small-scale building materials production, so that they will not only have skills, when there is no work to do, they can produce materials and sell. We also took them through a series of basic entrepreneurship training, and there was also opportunity for those of them who want to launch out on their own immediately to register their businesses right here at this spot. The Corporate Affairs Commission have a desk here to do that. And the registration fees for 100 of these new enterprises has been paid by System for these enterprises. All this herald a transition that should take the construction artisan and indeed the construction industry and the nation to the next level in readiness to compete on the global platform and attain self-sufficiency and 100% local capacity in the construction industry. Your Excellency, it might interest you to know that skills at this level are in short supply worldwide. So any Nigerian that acquires this skill is assured of gainful employment either in Nigeria or internationally. It is therefore my special privilege on behalf of the System and its partners to welcome Your Excellency and other distinguished guests, fellow professionals, our award-winning artisans, and other guests to this final event in the Construction Artisans Award and Skills Expo. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. We'll go quickly into another address. It's the address by one who also came here from the very beginning, and he stayed with us, but he had to go to attend some things. That's talking about the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, Architect Sonny Echono, who has also designated a very senior member of the ministry to come ahead and deliver his address on his behalf. Engineer Undu has been designated so to speak. Please put your hands together for him. He will speak on behalf of the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Education. Thank you, sir.
The representative of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in the person of Babatunde Raji, who is the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, and other professionals here. I'm Ingeniando Omonakwe Matthew. I head the vocational and technical education of the Technology and Science Education Department. My PAMSEC had every plan to be here physically, though he's been here earlier and left. And this is his home constituency as an architect. And he says even though he has cause to go, he should be equally represented. So this is his address, which I am reading. The keynote address of the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Education, at the opening ceremony of Vocational Skills Exposition and Construction Artisans Award, held at Old Parade Ground, Gariki, Area 10, Abuja. It is my great honor and privilege to be invited to deliver the keynote address at the opening ceremony of Vocational Skills Exposition / Construction Artisans Award 2019. Meeting national objectives of job creation and global competition. At this point in time, the nation requires that our youth be highly skilled in order to solve the problem of unemployment, insecurity, and youth restiveness, thereby enabling them to be self-reliant, entrepreneurs, job and wealth creators. It is worthy to note that the objective of the Construction Artisans Award includes: 1, to celebrate skillful construction artisans and tradesmen as they showcase the knowledge, skills, and experiences that they have acquired over the years, and to generate excitement and interest in the construction trade. In 2013, federal government approved the institutionalization of 6 national vocational qualification framework in Nigeria and the placement of persons who are certified to have qualified to be placed appropriately in the civil service. In this area of national vocational qualification framework, the MBTE has done a lot of work here, and the aim is to recognize skills irrespective of where you have acquired it. Ever since this approval, several giant strides have been taken to actualize the dream of making Nigeria a hub of technical expertise in all fields of human endeavor. Federal Ministry of Education, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, have worked assiduously towards meeting the immediate requirements of implementing the National Vocational Qualification Framework. This included developments of the required national occupational standards, national skills qualification hitherto. Last done, this national occupational standard was last looked at in 1963, but now we are bringing it back to life through the work of MBT and training of experts to operate the framework. Furthermore, the several sectors of the Nigerian economy has been covered. Areas covered in this work include, that's in producing the National Occupational Standard, the construction, for which we are here today, hospitality, power, service industry, education and care, ICT, agriculture and manufacturing. Similarly, 95 qualifications were developed out of the 41 NOS. That's the National Occupational Standards. The standards and the Vocational Skills Qualification Code of Practice, roles and responsibility of training providers, awarding organizations, and sector skills councils were approved by the governing board of the National Board for Technical Education. Efforts are also being made to develop further and train more quality assurance managers for the program. It is, however, important to point out that this process needs to be accelerated and given fullest support, since the present administration has set skilling and employment of Nigerian youth as one of its priorities. Otherwise, the elaborate training of assessors and verifiers, as well as National Occupational Qualification Standard and the skills qualification, will be stalled. According to the PAMSEC, permit me to inform you that the FID funded project called MAFITA, which is operational in 3 states in Nigeria, is working hard to improve the livelihood of marginalized youth people in northern Nigeria. The program is piloted in 3 states, like I initially mentioned, Kano, Kaduna, and Katsina. It has received support because its prospects in improving skills delivery in Nigeria. MAFITA sets out to enable 68,000 marginalized young people, with particular emphasis on women and marginalized adolescent girls and elementary, to full-time skilled employment and self-employment. It will create a net total of 43,000 full-time equivalent job, assisting 33,500 micro and small enterprise by 2021. National Occupational Standard has been developed in areas such as motorcycle and tricycle assembly and maintenance, satellite assembly and maintenance, GSM repairs and rice processing, animal husbandry, cosmetology and beauty, fisheries and agriculture, paint making, photography and cinematography, event management, solar PV installation and maintenance. Ladies and gentlemen, the Empower Skills Employment Initiative of the federal government is currently utilizing the National Occupational Standard developed above in collaboration with the Sector Skills Council in construction and automobile industries. Furthermore, all qualifications in framework impact other soft skills as communication skills, teamwork, numeracy, time management, social services, business studies, and the rest of the soft skills you need to apply whatever hard skill you have learned. It is on this, and in recognition of the global best approaches, that the nomenclature was changed to National Skills Qualification Framework. Skills development cut across many ministries, departments, and agencies private sector, and non-government organizations. Government is making efforts to ensure that all different actors in this area, which operates, often overlap, are harmonized, standardized, regulated, controlled, and well coordinated for us to actually get the intended results. Furthermore, there is a growing sense that past strategies of skills development are inadequate to deal with the new challenges which the economy faces. The challenge is not merely of producing more skilled people, but whether it is needed by the economy. Currently, the Federal Ministry of Education is engaging in a skills gap study to find out areas of interest where we should be putting in more educational effort. The present administration has set skills and development of Nigerian youth as one of its priority agenda, as enunciated in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. This is the more reason why the organization of Vocational Skills Expo and Construction Artisans Award is commended for taking the right step in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to congratulate the organizers of this competition for their contribution in showcasing the Made in Skills Expo in Construction Award for opportunities and recognitions you have given to the artisans as an encouragement. I therefore urge all participants to have the good spirit of sportsmanship and also to obey all the rules and regulations guiding the awards truly. Thank you, and God bless you for listening.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we want to specially appreciate and bring to the front one who actually is our very strong benefactor. She's a sponsor of the Best Female Artisan. She's also the Managing Director of Hydra Form. Let's welcome Mrs. Madinat Hutman. Please put your hands together for her. Ma'am, there's a seat for you in front. She had generously agreed to sponsor the award for the Best Female Artisan and this competition. Thank you very much, ma'am. They say what a man can do, a woman can do better. We'll just take a few recognitions, Your Excellency, and run through. Let me begin by appreciating one woman also who has played a very strong role, a very positive role in this country. She is a former deputy governor. I'm sure you know her, Your Excellency, when you were governor. She is the chairman governing board of the National Board for Technical Education, Professor Modupe Adelabu. Please put your hands together for her. Thank you, ma'am. It's also to help you know that some people are here, very important as we appreciate them, so that you know that we work with people who know you. We also want to inform you that we have the Chairman, Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria, Professor Builder Bala Kabir. Please put your hands together for him. We also have here with us the President of the Nigerian Institute of Building, Builder Kenneth Unduka. You're welcome, sir. The President of RIDAN and Chairman of SISTAMP, Surveyor Ogochukwu Chime, is also here. You're welcome, sir. We have a friend who came all the way from the UK. He's the CEO of the CITB in Northern Ireland, Mr. Barry Nelson, is also here. You're welcome, sir. And he has also donated 2 trophies and has brought a lot of souvenirs with him for our friends. We have also the President of the Association of Women Builders of Nigeria, Builder Lami Mohammed who's also here with us. We have also with us here Mr. Minister, the President, the Chairman of the Governing Council of Auchi Polytechnic, and Auchi Chief Mike Oloyo. Thank you. And Director of IMT Enugu, Professor Austin Nweze, also with us here today. Just so that you are abreast with what we have, people who are gathered here to, who waited for you to come in, Mr. Minister. As we go on, I'll want to invite for a goodwill message, very briefly, Managing Director, Family Homes Fund, Mr. Femi Adewale, to just deliver a quick goodwill message before we go on. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I stand on existing protocol. I think really what I want to do is to congratulate System and all the organizers of these awards. It's a fantastic achievement. I'm exceptionally delighted, and I want to assure you that the Family Homes Funds stands shoulder to shoulder with you in developing future expos and awards, but more specifically in taking advantage of opportunities that construction provides to create jobs, much needed jobs for Nigerians. This is a key result for the Family Homes Fund. As part of our mandate, we have a target of creating 1.5 million indirect jobs over the next 5 years. And we consider that the work that you are doing is a very strong opportunity and partnership for the Family Homes Fund. Currently, we are requiring all of the development projects that the fund is supporting to provide for an apprenticeship scheme as part of their development proposals. And we look forward to working with you in ensuring that that process works and that developers who are making those commitments as a condition of receiving financing from the fund actually deliver on those commitments. Currently, on the projects in Kano, we have about 873 young, fresh apprentices and people who are new to the construction industries employed on the site. In the project in Kano, we have about 580. In Ogun State, we have about 560. And in Asaba, we have about 70 people who are fresh and new to the construction industry, taking their first steps in developing expertise in building. I think that's a great opportunity here, and we look forward to deepening our partnership with you and give you our best wishes for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, let's give him another round of applause. Because of time, we had to stop, but we also want to thank the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, Dr. Adamu Kazauri, MNI, for coming out to support us. Thank you. And Your Excellency, I think you don't need introduction. He's already seated close to you, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and Youth Employment. But we appreciate him so much for the work he's doing for us. So we need to tell you that he's our man. We appreciate him. Afolabi Imokwede, we appreciate you. I will just quickly invite one also who's worked with us and is also planning a very strong partnership for us in the future. Is the Director in charge of British Council in Abuja, Robert Taylor, will just do a goodwill message. Please put your hands together for him. Thank you very much, sir. He's already a Nigerian. Please clap for him.
Thank you indeed. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm delighted to be here today, and I would only offer my congratulations on such a huge step forwards in this area of vocational education. It's a massive step, and we are very proud to play a part, and long may it continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. You know, we thank him for his support. The British Council is working very hard, both for graduates as well as our artisans, and they are benefiting so much. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you sincerely. We are getting to a very, very tense moment, and it's strong because this is the moment we've all been waiting for. That's what they say traditionally. You know, I had announced this at a lawyers' conference once. I didn't know why lawyers wrote Esquire at the end of their name. So I went as MC to a lawyers' conference and wrote my name and added Esquire. And somebody walked up to me and said, "Young man, are you a lawyer?" I said, "No, I'm the MCO." He said, "Why did you write Esquire at the end of your name?" I said, "Yes, I used to be a member of the choir. Right now, I'm an ex-choir member." The most important for me today is when people get prizes and rewards for what they have done. And I'm bringing the convener in a bit, who will bring the judges who have sat through the process, who have looked through everything, and now it's time to announce those who came out tops. But before that, I want us to clap for everybody who participated in this exercise. It's not easy. It's not easy. You see that the minister is clapping for you. If they don't give you anything, you have gotten applause from the highest position here today. Thank you, Mr. Minister. So, I'll invite our convener and Director General for SysTemp, Anthony A. Okwa, to come and deliver the judges to us. Please put your hands together for him.
Good afternoon, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, and of course, our great artisans. You are the reason why we are here, and the End Power beneficiaries amongst you. Hello? Okay. Actually, I have been carrying a very heavy burden over the past few years. We've been privileged with the support of NPower and the British Council and DFID to train over 20,000 artisans in about 20 of our own centers and another 300 midwife-by NPower and Carbon. And in as much as I would have loved to be classified as an artisan myself, it's been very difficult for me to really work directly with them. So coming to this competition, we decided that it was going to be very credible, very transparent, and delivered to the very highest standards. So we picked up a very astute panel of judges, and these judges, again, had to have their results moderated by a committee of moderators. And I can assure you, none of these artisans is known personally to me. I'll say that it's very important because there are some very juicy prizes being given away this afternoon. And so we had to be sure that the process was very transparent. I'll invite the committee of moderators, led by no less a person than the Chairman College of Fellows of the Nigerian Institute of Builder, Mrs. Araba. She is ably supported by our technical partner from CITB Northern Ireland, courtesy of the partnership facilitated by the British Council, Barry Nelson, engineer Barry Nelson. In Nigeria, that's how we... We also have builder Mrs. Halima. Is she here? And Scott Kilgrew. Please come forward. I have been trying to find out who the winners were, with the notion that we needed to inscribe their names on the plaques and medals. We have a golden cup donated by CITB Northern Ireland, which will be competed for annually, and a trophy which the overall winner will take for keeps. Then we have the gold, silver, and bronze medals for the winners in the 3 categories, with some cash prizes. And we whispered to them that we would need to raise the checks properly so that we could hand it over to them. But they were working very hard, scrutinizing the results. You will see the work because these were practicals and they needed to look at every detail. So I will call them now to announce the results in front of you all. I'll be hearing the names of the winners for the first time myself. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, without bias, we want to announce the names of the winners, and we want to start with the trade of carpentry. The first position goes to Mohammed Yakub.
I was built to be the best,
for
number
carpentry
one
from
and nothing
Northeast
less.
Zone.
Lead me
Mohammed
to my
Yakubu.
destiny.
Run
I
along,
have
please.
waited patiently.
May
I
I
have
invite
vision, though I
the
believe.
senior special
I
assistant?
know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions.
donating 50,000 naira for the first winner in the tiling category, 30,000 naira and 20,000 respectively for the others. And there will be consolation prizes for all the winners. I'm also happy to announce that the Empower office also donated tools and equipment for all the contestants. There are 49 of them representing the various zones. Those will be distributed as soon as the Honorable Minister, Vice President's representative, delivers his speech and proceeds, because that will take us some time. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll just invite the Managing Director of Family Homes Fund to just help us quickly do this presentation of the Royal Ceramics competition for tilers. Just 3 of them. For tiling, we have the third position goes to Atomeji Joseph from Southeast. Please put your hands together for him. Can you just run up here quickly? Atomeji Joseph. Quickly. Please come and collect your check quickly. Second position is Thomas Oria-Sotier. Thomas Oria-Sotier from South. Second position. And the first position, the overall winner for the tiling competition is Mohammed Shafiu from FCT. Please put your hands together for him. Mohammed Shafiu from FCT. Mohammed Shafiu. Thomas is second position. Thomas, smile, eh? It's okay. It's yours. Next time you'll be first. And the overall, this man has carried prizes today. Mohammed Shafiu. Hard work pays. Every other person who has come here, their overall is clean. Even here, his own is dirty. It shows he's working even in this place. Congratulations. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we just want to thank the Executive Director of Dantata and Sewo Construction Company, Engineer Nasiru A. Dantata. You're welcome. At this point, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we want to bring our special guest of honor to say something to us. Looking at him, some artisans have said the Vice President did not make a wrong choice for bringing this man, who, of course, when he was governor, was referred to as one of the most progressive governors. And many people described him as man of the year. I think even now he should be man of the year. In 2009, The Guardian said he was man of the year. In 2009, The Vanguard said he was man of the year. In 2009, The Sun newspaper said he was man of the year. In 2010, The Champion newspaper said he was man of the year. In 2012, City People said he was man of the year. In 2014, he was man of the year, and he received 2 other awards. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I respect the year 1998. Something happened in Nigeria. One man was elevated to a special class of people. In that class, he was the first to be named SAN. He was also the first chief of staff from that class to have been given that title. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, he is the only man who has successfully manned 3 powerful ministries, including the Ministry of Power. is none other than our honorable minister, our own minister, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you. Please be seated. Just permit me to really look eyeball to eyeball with the people who really we are all about. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the day is quite well spent and fast spent, so I wouldn't take too much of your time. Let me say first that I am honored to be here on behalf of His Excellency, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN GCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic. And on his behalf, I bring you all very good tidings and words of appreciation to all of those who have worked and sponsored and partnered to bring this initiative and this very, very novel awards event together. I thank you very, very much for your contribution towards nation building. This is really profound, and this is defining for the future of our country. Let me also, on his behalf, thank all of the participants. I congratulate all of the award winners, but more importantly, congratulate everybody who contested. There really can be no winner without contest. For those who have won in the various sectors of carpentry, electrical works, iron bending, painting, masonry, tiling, and plumbing, I urge you to continue to self-develop, improve yourself, because the competition is waiting. It is easy to get to the top, but it is much more difficult to stay there. Let me also say that Mr. Afolabi Mokwede, who I really salute his commitment to skill development, has had the privilege to work in a government where I was team leader in Lagos, and I am really delighted to see him here today continuing to do what really is very, very profound and defining for our economy and our nation, as I will attempt to explain. Thank you very much, Folabi. To all of the members and leadership of Coburn, Redan, and many other partners, DFID, too numerous to mention, the sponsors, system, all of you, thank you very much. I have heard that there has been a debate here today about whether or not the conventional education was more important than the skill and technical and vocational education. I don't know who won the debate, but I will tell you very straight up, no one is superior to the other. You actually need both. And I say so because I am a product of both. The schools I went to, you must learn technical drawing, you must do woodwork, and you must do metal work and electrical work while doing science, biology, math, history, or literature. So today I can change my own engine oil, I can fix light fittings in my house, I can plane wood, I can chisel wood, and so on and so forth. And I know the very first principles of hydraulics as it relates to plumbing and airlock and so on. So, but that is a matter for another day. Let me say to you that you have participated in an event that you will never regret. Let me say that to you today. because all of the great nations that we want to be like have done exactly something similar to what is happening today and what President Buhari and his vice president have been trying to make us do. So whether it is in 1929, when there was the Great Depression, America found its way out of depression by massive construction and building. That was the way out. After the Second World War, you may have heard of the Marshall Plan. That was how Europe was rebuilt, and they have never stopped. China's claim to global strength today came from the massive construction that took place in the 1990s up till today in China. And the Middle East, especially in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, are undertaking the same process. And President Buhari has committed to a similar process for Nigeria. And that is why I can tell you today that there is no state of Nigeria where we are not building at least one road. We are constructing housing in 34 states. The only 2 states remaining are those where we are waiting to have land. We have 90 transmission substation projects across the nation and over 100 injection distribution projects across the nation. Who are the people working in those places? Iron benders, steel makers, masons, and people in your immediate and related trade. And we are not done yet. The major message I like to share with you is that apart from housing, apart from roads, there's a massive rail project going on now from Lagos to Kano. And it just requires all your skill sets. And this is the beginning of many more. But that is not the end. What President Buhari has now done, in order to show that he understands that you are here and that you need work, is that he has issued an executive order, Presidential Executive Order 5. The sum and substance of that executive order is that any job relating to skilled building, construction, technical work, vocational work that a Nigerian can do, we must give priority to that Nigerian as against every foreigner. So what has my ministry done in this regard? We have told all of the countries who have given us loans that yes, we have borrowed money, but we have not signed our sovereignty away. And therefore, on all our construction sites, we will implement that executive order. But it is not just saying so alone. We have started an audit of all our construction sites in power, works, and housing to determine how many Nigerians are on those sites and how many non-Nigerians are on those sites. For non-Nigerians who are on those sites, if you are from the ECOWAS sub-region, you do not need a visa to enter Nigeria. So we have no problem with you coming here. But you need a work permit to be on that site. So if you do not have a work permit on that site, go and get one, or you will be violating our laws and we will be enforcing our immigration law. This is how it is done all over the world, and Nigeria will be no exception. For those who are not from the ECOWAS sub-region, we will be checking whether you have visas, and if you have visas, because we welcome partnerships, we want to see also that you have a work permit to encroach on the economy that we prioritize for our people. But we are not done with Order 5 alone. In the month of January, 2 important events happened in Nigeria, and tomorrow my ministry will be holding a press briefing on those events. But I will share with you what those events are about, because they are important to what will happen in the month of February. And all of us know what will happen in the month of February. Now, on the 9th of January, my ministry presented a memorandum to council. The memorandum was for the approval of a national infrastructure maintenance framework, starting first with buildings. We will be going later to roads. We will be going later to rail. We will be going later to power installations. But we're starting with public buildings. Now, essentially, what we sought to do was to urge council to approve that maintenance framework so that every public building owned by the federal government will be subject to a mandatory maintenance program. In order to arrive at that framework, which I must say, the good news is that the Federal Executive Council approved it. But in order to arrive at that framework, we sampled 9 buildings. We took a federal court. We took a federal college. We took a federal hospital. We took a federal prison. We took a federal secretariat. And then we took 4 buildings belonging to our ministry, 4 blocks. And we did an audit of site assessment. And from the time you start that, you start to employ people. Because site assessment requires data, measurement, and so on and so forth. Then we progress to condition assessment, which again requires another set of skills and knowledge to undertake to see what is working and what is not working. In one building, for example, we found out that there were 68 air conditioning equipment installed and 11 needed to be replaced. So for those who are in heating, ventilation and cooling business, do you see work for yourself if we have to replace and reinstall 11 air conditioning? And in one other building, we found out that out of about 30 toilets or so, about 12 were not functional. So for those who are in the plumbing business, do you see what I see? So ultimately, from those 9 buildings, we found out that we needed to spend about 600 million per year to maintain those buildings. And it meant that we will be employing roughly about 400 people. In one of our schools, the sample school, it will require at least 30 people to maintain one school. So, and we have, I think, about 120 or 130 secondary schools. So we haven't even got to buildings that are owned by parastatals. We haven't reached the airports and so on and so forth. But the good news is that the Federal Executive Council has approved a go for us. So we are having a press briefing with all the permanent secretaries who are heads of the ministries tomorrow so that everybody knows what to do and we can set this in motion and begin to create the real economy for which you have been trained. Ultimately, what will happen is that from the condition assessment, procurement will develop, contracts will be awarded, and from then on, either you as business owners or as subcontractors to facility management companies, there will be something for you to do in the next few weeks on a sustaining basis for a long time in Nigeria. But that is not all. Last week, Friday, the president also signed a law. That law had been in the making for a long time. But perhaps you do not connect it to what we are doing here. It was a law to prohibit discrimination against people and persons living with disability. Yes, people living with disabilities have now been protected by that law. But that law also imposes a condition that within 5 years, all buildings must comply and make themselves friendly and usable by people living with disabilities. What I see is that we have to start installing proper lifts, We have to start creating ramps. We have to start altering how our current toilets work. We have to start altering what our car parks look like, and so much more to do. So I will expect that builders, architects, masons, plumbers, electrical installations people have a big role to play if we are to help Mr. President fulfill that mandate. So this is only a snippet of what lies ahead. I will conclude by just telling you about something big that is coming to Nigeria, the Mambila Hydropower Project. I believe that many of you have heard about it. When construction work actually starts, we are going to have to relocate people. We are going to have to rebuild a new town for those displaced. We are going to have to rebuild roads, housing in Taraba State. But the process to that, the quantities of that project, let me just share the quantities with you. We are going to need 18 million bags of cement. 18 million bags of cement. So for masons, for people who work with cement, just imagine how much work you have to do. But before you get the cement, imagine how much limestone has to be mined. And imagine how many bags have to be manufactured to even take the cement. So if you are in that business, brace up, there is work and there is money to be made. But that is not all. With cement comes mixing of concrete with aggregates. That project will require 18 million tons of aggregates. And for the iron benders, that project is going to consume 42,000 tons of steel. So get ready. I will conclude by reminding you, all of you, that in the next 3 weeks, you will have a choice to make. And that choice is not about me. It is a choice about the ideological direction that Nigeria should face. Whether you will prefer to go back to a period when Nigeria earned $100 per barrel of oil for almost a decade, and there was no economic activity that provided employment for you. Or you will prefer to continue with a period when Nigeria is earning barely $60 per barrel of oil, and it is investing it in infrastructure and giving you an opportunity to participate. No, I leave you to your answer. You go and sit down. Because I think in the last few weeks, you would have had all sorts of arguments that, oh, there is poverty in the land. I will create jobs. How? Ask that question. Ask yourself, if the person who had $100 per barrel of oil for a decade did not create job, what is he going to do now when the money has reduced? And then ask yourself, if somebody who has less money is committing to Mambila, is committing to maintenance, is committing to protecting people with disability, where will you like to stand? You make that decision in your heart, and on the basis of this, your decision, go and use your PVC to choose what benefits you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. God bless you. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, sir. Can we put our hands together? Can we give him a standing ovation, please? Thank you very much. You may please take your seats. I think it was Albert Einstein who said that if you created a problem at a certain level in your life, you need to go to the next level of your life to be able to solve it. I want to invite two people to just say thank you to the representative of the Vice President. That's the Chairman of System and President of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Reverend Ugochukwu Chime. He will be supported by the President of Nigerian Institute of Building and also the President of Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria. We'll just approach, come and support us. We say thank you. After the presentation of the plaque, he will just do the vote of thanks and will officially close. We will also be able to go and see what the artisans have done. All right, sir.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by none other than His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN. We are glad that you are the one that was sent to represent the Vice President. I'm always enthused when I hear your report after every site visit. You give numbers of akara sellers. You give numbers of artisans on the site. You humanize your visit. It's not about building. It's about human beings who are feeding from those sites. And you have not disappointed. So you have a focus that is dovetailed towards building lives, not only structures. And that is why we are very grateful to have you today and that you are still taking across that same message. We'd like you to appreciate and take back to Mr. Vice President our gratitude that the Empower Project, the Money Project, and all other people's-oriented project is yielding very heavy dividends of democracy to our people. It's getting to the grassroots, it's trickling down, and it will continue to trickle down. Please, let's clap for Mr. Vice President for that project that is championing personally, meeting with the people, not just staying in his office to speak about it, but meeting them and risking his life in the streets. We appreciate that so much. Therefore, on behalf of the Board of System, the staff, and the associates and partners, would like to make a presentation of this plaque to you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming.
Congratulations and convey our gratitude to the Vice President. Sir, we know you are hurrying away, but we'll have loved you to see what the artisans have done. Our leaders will be taking the Vice President to just see. Please, every other person remain seated. Every other person remain seated. We will just allow the representative of the Vice President to go and see what some of us artisans have all created, and it will help him to see exactly what we are doing.
You be chairman of the format.
The band, please. All winners, please stay behind. All female artisans, you are needed at this bar, at the podium. Stay behind. All female artisans and all winners, we need you to stay behind, please.
You be chairman of the format. Chairman, do something, some reggae.
Oga buy me bottom belle, kulu my ati. Oga buy me bottom belle, kulu my ati. Bonse aziki, ayo ayo. Bonse aziki, bonse ayo ayo. Yeah, ayo ayo. Listen. Hallelujah, Hosanna, get you la wanting.
Alright, man, thank you. Winner of the best female artisan, you are needed here now. Winner of the best female artisan, we need you here now. Winner of the best female artisan, please. Can you come to the podium here? We need you here now. Winner of the best female artisan, please, you're needed here. Winner of the best.
Why your mama do? Why your papa do? Why your sister do? Why your brother do? Why with the easy? Why with the video? Baby dancing like say you do my music video.
All female
mom can't do to you. Mathematics the cancer with you.
All female
I can't shoot it to you. But the DJ can slam it so that to me or you can jump it to you.
Women artisans. Lady artisans. Artisans that are not men.
See, the way the man I'm gonna low. The way the sticky bum bum bum. Oh yeah, you want time for naira or dollar? Want time for pounds or euro? Anything for you, baby, cool to you. Oh yeah, that's it, baby. Yeah, you know cool my to you. Got by me for $10, cool my to you. Oh, got by me for $10, cool my to you. Banse, azikiwe, banse, aya, aya, banse, azikiwe, banse, aya, aya. You want them for naira or dollar? Want them for pounds or euro? Anything for you, baby, cool my heart. Bang, 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 bang. Oh yeah. Congratulations to all the artisans in the building. Listen.
All right. All participants from FCT and North Central, please go to the tiling stand for your
Roll.
all the band, please help me. All participants from FCT and North Central, please go to the tiling stand for your certificates. Please, we'll advise that you clear the main area so that our special guests can just move to their cars, please. Please clear the central working area so that our special guests and the others can just go quickly. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I appreciate you for coming.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Listen. Yeah, this one I'm gonna do the job. Me, I don't get time on the Dada cover my face, calling me like my Joe. Biggie man, we know the way money go, bossy go, you go, all the money, big up, ride a woman, I know feet, die for nothing. Money go, bossy go, you go, all the money, big up them, ride a woman, I know feet, die for nothing. Why? Make you no say anything when you do, they must commentate.
Can't come and do myself.
That's why anything I do, I they trying to do it my way. Plenty of our way we face, just to make your money good. But my people tell say I know one die, I know one die, I know one payment. I want enjoy, I want chop life, I want build house, I bound by motor, I still want to know. When you go, where's it go? You are go, all the money, you got them, ride the woman, on your feet, down for nothing. Money go, where's it go? You are go, all the money, you got them.